Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube. Fan debates, live watch-alongs, post-match reactions, and all the Foxes banter you could ask for. Subscribe now and see the game through Blue Tinted Glasses.
Just into race clear. He's got Jamie Vardy with him. Jamie Vardy sets off. Jamie Vardy! Full back here for Tarwood. Oh, he scored! An absolute belter! That is trademark Abdul Tarwood.
This one into the box. Nugent over the top. Oh, what a goal! David Nugent's just scored a beauty. He's made Forest look like fools.
Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Good morning and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. It is Monday. No, it's not Monday yet. Sunday morning. And Leicester City have won a game of football. So it is a good morning, Foxes. I can't imagine there's going to be too much spunk today, unfortunately, for some of the people out there that do enjoy that. But yeah, we're going to have a good chat anyway. So make sure to hit the like on the video. Make sure to hit subscribe. Leave your comments as well. We'll bring as many up as we can. Let's see how everybody is. Graham, all the way from sunny Abu Dhabi, mate. What's going on? How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. It's not. It's probably going to be more spud than spunk today, but I'm in a good frame of mind. Oh, by the way, the boy says thank you for anybody that turned up. Obviously, at his bar last week. Obviously, the offer is now over, but please feel free to come in at any time and call his dad a wanker.
Lovely stuff. Steve, hello to you, mate. Good to see you again. I literally saw you yesterday for the watch along. How's things with you, mate?
Yeah. Well, we all found out you were out again last night, Locks, but it's fine. We'll get the goop.
Oh, you talk about the gaming. Yes. It is what it is. Kate, morning to you. How's things?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
All good. I feel like people are in like different positions. Like Graham's on top of Kate today, whereas
I'm usually there.
Is.
We're mixing it up, aren't we, Graham?
Yeah, we are. We don't want to keep you. We need to keep you guessing.
Graham's normally on top of Steve, and today he's on top of Kate. I don't know what's going on. Graham swings both ways.
Steve, this could be your lucky day.
Yeah.
You say it like no spunk, Locks.
Well, where do we start today? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just go back in time a little bit, guys. And we're going to go... Steve. Steve, I thought that was Chris. Yeah, thanks to Graham calling you Chris last week and every week. No, we're going to go back in time, guys, because I want to give Graham the opportunity to gloat, because he loves doing that. Graham, there's a comment here from last Monday night. Chapper says, Graham, shall we talk about Jakob's man of the match performance on Monday night? What are your thoughts, mate, on the West Brom game?
Well, Chappers, thank you as ever, my mate. I think that, yes. Yeah. He's not as good as maybe I think he is, but he's not as bad as you think he is. So there were some good saves. I mean, I'm going to say there were three last saves. The last one, I think, was okay save. I would have hoped to have got down to it. I might not have ever been able to get back up again. But I think the argument that he is actually making the players behind him feel nervous passes like a ship's in the night. And obviously, you haven't received your humble pie offering yet from the chef, no? No. Well, we'll move on to... We've had a clean sheet from backup Berkovic, and all is good in the footballing world, goalkeeping wise. Yeah,
what are your thoughts then, Kate? Let me come to you next on the goalkeeper situation, because we did see Jakob put in a good performance on Monday night. Although I still think he made a mistake in that game. I'm convinced he made a little mistake. I'm sure he did, playing out from the back. But yeah, we saw him put in a great performance, Kate, on Monday night, and then Begovic yesterday came into the team as expected with the cup game, and he put in a good performance as well, which we've seen before from him. Would you say continue with Jakob for the time being after he kind of redeemed himself a little bit against West Brom?
I didn't feel he had a great game against West Brom. I feel like that is the level that you should expect from a keeper. Like if
you got Roy Keane, it's his job. It's his job.
If he'd missed those saves, I think we would have definitely been calling him some more. But look, I feel like Jakob's confidence is really low, and I don't want to bring sympathy to that. You can't really afford to have your keeper's confidence low, and it does affect the back four. And I appreciate the back four also affect him, but he did make a mistake playing out from the back consistently, playing that silly 6-yard box pass to Ben Nelson frequently from a goal kick, which drives everybody insane. I like Begovic. I feel like he's a safer pair of hands. I would like to see him take the position, really, but it is a big call. But Jakob's he just looks devoid of confidence, which I know can be said for a lot of the team as well, but you can't afford it so much with a keeper.
What about you, Steve? How are you feeling now about the keeper situation, mate? Because I think Kate makes a good point, obviously, like, he was down on. I think he's crap. Okay, I think he's just not a very good goalkeeper. However, I also wouldn't be against the opinion, or I wouldn't argue against the fact that he's probably a decent keeper that's just low on confidence, and because he's low on confidence, his performances, probably the consistency just aren't there. So there were calls to maybe drop him prior to the West Brom game. Now that he put in that good performance, Steve, or as Kate said, he did his job. Would you stick with him now? Would you keep playing him? Try and kind of build a bit of consistency?
Well, I think his performance on Monday. Look, we won the game because of the saves he made. We didn't really have a lot of attacking output in that game, so overall, it was because of the saves that he made that we won it. I think you probably have to carry on with him at this point. Okay, Begovic got a clean sheet yesterday against a pretty poor Cheltenham team, let's be honest. So, yeah, put him against Coventry, but, the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? We'll see how he performs in the next 3 or 4 games. If he doesn't live up to the expectations that we have as a goalkeeper, then you'll drop him for Begovic and carry on from there, really.
Yeah, I mean, Upside Down says Jakob was jeered in the previous home game. Is he low on confidence? He is low on confidence. Jeering your own, ridiculous. Well, jeering and booing your own is something that has happened at Leicester for quite a long time now. It wasn't
just at the home game as well, to be fair. He's been jeered at away games for like catching a ball from a corner and stuff. So, and we've done it on the watch along as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I always give him a round of applause, Graham, when he catches a ball, because he doesn't seem to do it too often, mate.
Because you hate him with a passion.
I don't hate anyone other than...
No, hate's probably too strong a word. No, you really, 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 really dislike him. But people,
no. Not dislike. I just think he's crap. It's as simple as that. I think he's crap. That's it.
Well, the only person that matters whether he thinks he's crap or not is Marty, and he keeps picking him.
Yeah, I mean, he is a great judge of player, isn't he? I'm joking. No, I hear what you're saying, Graham, and I will agree. After the performance against West Brom, yes, he should play the next one as well against Coventry. There's a comment here. What worries me is that does that mean the likes of Louis Page will be jeered in 4 or 5 months? If I don't think they will be, but we'll see. Leicester fans do surprise you sometimes. Don't be so happy, Leicester. Cheltenham just a normal team. Come against us. Yeah, all right, mate. Right, let's move on a couple days. Okay, guys, we're going in chronological order here. Let's move on to a couple of days later, guys, and we got news that Leicester City are in talks with a technical director. Now we might get some spunk, everybody, so hold on to your seats. I'm gonna stir the pot here a little bit. So Graham, let me come to you first, mate. What are your thoughts on this news? Because now, me personally, the more I've thought about it, I haven't really got a problem with this appointment if it goes ahead, because this guy, Andy Goldie, obviously he is currently at Southampton. He is Director of Group Talent Strategy, leads the group talent strategy across the Sport Republic clubs, including loans, recruitment of high potential 17 to 21-year-olds, and progression of our best talent. Now, some people online, the usual places, right, X and Fox's Talk, they're saying that this guy is underqualified. Personally, I don't really understand it, Graham, because you can see here he's got a rich academy background. So he's been an academy director at Dundee, at Swansea, at Southampton, and he's now obviously this lead of group talent strategy, which does deal with recruitment of high potential 17 to 21-year-olds and progression of talent. So that to me looks like things that our own fans have been asking for. You want somebody who is an expert in recruitment of young players, young excited players, of developing young exciting high potential players. So what's the problem here, Graham?
I don't know. You tell me. No, I think the issue with this one is, we could appoint the Pope and nobody would be happy. If you look at these technical directors of the Premier League clubs, they're on 1 million, 2 million quid a year. Let's get somebody in that can grow with the club, and especially as the legacy we have from those above that some of you are not very keen on. We have a great academy, and the future, both financially and player-wise, is at the hospital at Seagrave. So if this guy ticks all the boxes, I heard some muppet say, "Oh, what's this obsession with Southampton?" Well, maybe Southampton are good at bringing players through. I don't know, but you've got to start somewhere, and we are in the Championship, and this bloke can do the job. But he might not be. That might just be his agent singing his praises. There's obviously not going to interview just one candidate. So let's see. But yeah, it gets my vote if he comes.
There you go, Graham. I'm handing out for you to other people, not for you, for other people.
Was that aimed at me, Graham? Because that was only tongue in cheek about there being other teams available.
No, please don't. Steve, John, Colin, just don't take it personally. Not everything's aimed at you, Chris.
All right, Derek.
What about you, Kate? Because that does appear to be the overwhelming, thing I'm seeing on Twitter and Fox's talk. Oh, he's from Southampton, so he must be crap. We spoke to a Southampton fan the other day. I've spoken to a couple of them actually, and they were speaking quite highly of him. I know their manager at the moment, the Southampton manager, isn't getting on too well. Tonda Eckert, I want to say his name is, but. This guy, this Andy Goldie was the guy who kind of brought in this Tonda Eckert as the under-21 coach, under-21 oh, bye Steve, he'll be back in a sec. Under-21 manager. He came back. Andy Goldie recruited him as the manager for the under-21 team, and then he got a promotion to first team manager. He also apparently was instrumental in the development of Tyler Dibbling, who went to Everton for 35 million. And as we've just read, Kate, he does seem to have a rich academy background, which is what all our fans have done all season, including some of us here, is ask for youth, and he has a rich background in that. So I'm not sure what people are moaning about too much here, Kate.
Yeah, he seems to have done his legwork and the groundwork and getting to where he is. So I wouldn't have a problem with it. It would be interesting to know if those that are criticising have gone for directors of football jobs themselves or have a history of that. And I'm not being flippant with that comment. If they know more than me, then share it. But whether you can judge someone whether they have enough experience or not and you've never done the job is a little bit silly. Jason Wilcox was also from Southampton, if I know rightly, and he's now at Man United. So I don't really understand the connection. It doesn't really... It doesn't mean anything. It's not really a connection. It just happens to be a club. I don't have a problem with it. I don't know enough about the role. I just remember Jason Wilcox playing for Blackburn when they won the league. That's probably a bit beyond your time, Logs. But I don't really know what qualifies as a great football director, whether that's someone who's played the game, whether it's someone who's not played the game. But look, if he's got a decent pedigree, if he's used to working with youth and developing academies, then we have that there waiting for him. So I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it at all, because I'm really not qualified to say whether someone is good enough for the role or has enough experience for the role, because we've all got to start somewhere, and we're not Real Madrid. We don't need 15 years of experience and dealing with agents and players and transfers to prove that you're good enough for Leicester City. We are Leicester City. So I think we just need, as I've said before with managers, get the right cultural fit and it can work really well. Just
to bring this comment up here, Tony, I wouldn't read too much into into Wilcox's, causing issues at Manchester United. I mean, I think it's, the issues at Man United are long-standing, and if I'm not mistaken, Wilcox was the one saying to Ruben Amorim, like, change up the fucking style of play, stop playing the same formation and style every game. You are losing games. This isn't good, and they've obviously fallen out because of that. I wouldn't say that's Wilcox. Any of Man United problems are down to Wilcox, but I'm happy to
shows
be
the incredible look that you kind of need to have to get everybody to agree in a football club structure, like whether it's style of play, appointment of manager, owner views, whatever that will be. I think the owner views would probably be the least of someone's problems coming here. But it's whether you can get them to compete with the manager in a like productive way, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, let me show you this, Steve. Just to clarify a couple of things. So, a director of football, who I believe is still John Rudkin, focuses on bigger picture strategy, manager hiring, and major transfers, while a technical director concentrates on the how of football, coaching philosophy, youth development, training methods, infrastructure, ensuring consistent playing style across all levels. The roles often overlap, with some clubs using the titles interchangeably for a broad sporting director role. So there you go. So that might help a little bit for some people. But so that's what I'm saying, Steve. Like, I'm not too concerned about this. I think that it's a good start, right? People have asked for change, and more importantly, people have asked for a footballing person to come into the club, and a footballing individual to come into the club and help the club out. And that's exactly what it seems the club are doing by appointing this guy. If it goes ahead, he has a good background, a good history, albeit he is still young, right? So as I think Graham said, he can grow with the club, and I think that's what we need, right? We shouldn't really judge too quickly, too soon, if you know what I mean.
Well, let me put the cat down. Not put her down, put her on the floor. Jesus. Hang on a second.
It's a bit harsh.
The one thing that a few fans that I spoke to are worried about is that if we'd have brought in a technical director that had a long history in the game, that they're married to their system and they wouldn't want to change it. So bringing in a younger lad makes sense, because you can still grow in that role and you can adapt and change things around when you need to. I think in taking off some of the workload from Rudkin would be a positive for everybody involved. It means that there's continuity in regards to managers. If he should have a short list of managers if we get rid of one and we're bringing another one on. And as you said, and everyone else said, he's got a history in youth football, with Dundee and Southampton, which is great, because our academy is the thing that we need to push forward to make money going, in the future. So I have no issues with him being from Southampton. That's just it is what you can't help where somebody works, can you? Let's be honest. But if they've said that he's a decent person and they want to give him the job, then I'm all for it. There are people in the chat saying, he's not had much of experience at other clubs. 2 years here is not a sort of laying down of a foundation to really sort of look into his past. But if you go back and watch the show that Anil and Duck did the other night, there's a lot of information on him there, and actually it's a quite informative piece. But yeah, I'm all for it. Look, if he can come in and progress the club and give us that continuity, then by all means, he's a young lad and he'll grow with the club.
And you can see here, I mean, the reason why he's not been at one club for a long period of time is because he's just been consistently promoted. Like that, That's a good thing, no? Like, he's gone from Dundee, he was there for 3 years, then he's been promoted to Swansea, he's gone to Swansea for a year, and then he's joined Southampton, and they were just relegated to Southampton. They wanted a change in direction in July 2023, and they brought this guy in, and he's now been promoted to the wider ownership group, right, at Southampton, the Sport Republic. And as you said, yes, the academy background, but also the thing there which I really like, the recruitment of high potential 17 to 21 year olds. So For me, that's exciting. That's what a lot of fans want. People have been saying, I don't want no more Jordan Ayew's. I don't want no more Bobby D. Cordova-Reeds. Well, you're bringing in a guy who's got experience in signing young players, young exciting players. So, yeah,
but we do know that he loves a bit of Russell Martin. So I hope we're all ready for Russell Martin in 2 years' time.
Well, yeah, he has worked above Russell Martin a couple of times. That is true. So let's wait and see. I mean, if the rumours are to be believed, the club don't want Russell Martin anymore after the antics at Bournemouth away last season, when thousands of fans sung, what was it? Fuck off, Russell Martin, or something. Russell Martin, you're having a laugh.
You're a wanker, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. They quickly U-turned on those talks with Russell Martin, allegedly. But let me ask you, Graham, just quickly. Obviously, I've just been speaking about it, but do you think what are your thoughts? I know what you're going to say here, Graham. I'm stirring a little bit, but do you think some people are just moaning for the sake of it? Because people mention the Southampton thing, and I get it, right? Because we signed Vestergaard, we signed Ryan Bertrand from Southampton, who were mostly flops, or Vestergaard had a good year, right? But look. Claude Puel, like it or hate it, right? Like or hate the football, he did wonders, I think, personally for the club, pre-Brendan Rodgers, bringing in some really exciting young players. Let's not pretend that everyone at Southampton's a mug. They've got some, of course, they'll have some very, they were in the Premier League for 10 years, 12 years, something like that. I think people are moaning for the sake of it, Graham, on this thing. They asked for change. It's a bit like the Top interview, right? I know there's not been anything since, and that's frustrating, but the day that Top did the interview, people were moaning. It's like, you've just fucking asked for this. What are you talking about? You've been asking for this for months, and you've got it, and you're still moaning about it.
Well, again, I'm going to have to agree with you. Again, Claude Puel, he had a tough job to do. His biggest job was to try and break up the powerful players' lobby within the group, and that didn't work fast well. But any bloke that wears a tag Monaco watch gets my vote. So going on about Southampton, you got Bertrand and whatever thing. But I think if you really want some spunk, go and have a look at the Foxes Trust / Communist Manifesto for the changes required and what their recruitment was for a new technical director or director of football. I mean, basically, it's Rudkin's CV. So there going to be some pushback. That's funky enough for you, boy.
That's funny. That's funny. I didn't actually see that. What they did they put out? It doesn't surprise me. Puel for director of football. I mean, yeah, interesting. Hiring Russell Martin.
He's at Nice now, I believe. Puel. He's the director of football at Nice.
Oh wow, there you go.
Or somewhere in France, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we brought in Maddison, Ricardo, Tielemans on loan. Yeah, the loan signing of Tielemans. I want to say Soyuncu. Could be wrong on that, but I want to say Soyuncu. But yeah, it'll be a case of who takes the. Tony, you're so fucking negative, man. It's a joke. It is a joke. Like, can you never see anything good in anything, Tony? Just try, mate. Try and be just an ounce of positivity. That'd be great. But yeah, right. Okay, let's move on again. To yesterday. And Kate, I'm going to come to you. I know you weren't at the game, were you? You couldn't get a ticket, could you?
I couldn't, no.
So what did you make to the game? Because again, of course, and rightly so, I think, some people will say, don't get carried away. Obviously, it's League Two opposition, and that's absolutely right. However, I think it was really promising seeing some of the youngsters in action yesterday, and I thought they all did pretty well, Kate.
Yeah, I did as well. It's one of those games where it started off a bit sticky, which it probably was going to, because I think confidence, we don't really probably talk about that enough, but confidence impacts this team so much. And getting a clean sheet as well will have done a lot of good for us, because that was a banana skin waiting to happen. I mean, look at Palace, for God's sake, the current holders, and it shows what a bit of fight and grit from a lower league team can do to you. And that could have easily happened to us yesterday, and that would have been pretty disastrous, not just because it would be the first round of a cup again. Well, the first available round for the FA Cup for us again, like the League Cup. But confidence is on the floor. And I know a lot of people blur that into players not giving a shit or not trying. But sometimes a lot of it is confidence and just not having the ability to pull yourself out of a pretty bleak place at the minute. So I thought we grew into the game. The possession was never going to be a problem. And I thought there was still some sloppy play at the back. But yeah, the kids did really well. I think they were there to show what they're about and showcase themselves a bit. And I thought they did that. I mean, a lot of the youngsters were a cut above the Cheltenham players. They really were. You could see the difference in class in how they got to the ball, the pitch that they covered, their touch. Everything was sort of elite football player, what you'd expect, really. And I thought Mavididi was just outstanding yesterday. Like, that's one of those games he could have maybe shied away or thought, I don't want to get myself hurt or whatever it may be. But Mavididi did absolutely brilliantly. And I hope that brings his confidence on as well, because I wish he'd run at fullbacks a bit more like he did yesterday. But yeah, a good game. I think we grew into it, and the confidence showed as the game went on, really.
Did you see, though, after he scored his goal, it was like he just looked so miserable, which I kind of understand, right? Because
that's Mavididi, though, isn't it?
Well, I was going to say, it's like you were playing in the Premier League last season. Do you want to celebrate against Cheltenham Town? Do you know what I mean? Maybe it was a bit of that as well. But yeah, I was just. I mean, I'll ask you, Steve. You know, Mavididi, let's just talk about Mavididi a sec. I know I spoke to you yesterday about it. God, even when he puts in a great performance, Steve, he frustrates the fucking hell out of me. Just some of the things he does, I'm like, what are you doing, mate? But we can't deny it, Steve. A goal, an assist, taking on fullbacks, he did really well.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of moments in the first and the second half where he kicked the ball against the opposition. It came back to him, he did a step over and knocked it out of play, and we were all like, come on, Steffi, you're better than this. But overall, it's a decent performance. He did take on his fullback, and if that can move into Coventry next week, then great. You know, we need the confidence in the team, and goals and assists are the things that he should be putting in every week. And he got one against West Brom, and it was a good cross as well for Abdul's goal. So yeah, but he can be frustrating. But I guess it's what you expect now with Steffi, is that you're going to get a 3 or 4 out of 10 occasionally, and you'll get a 7 or 8 out of 10, you know, occasionally. So it depends on whether or not he wants to turn up. But also, let's not forget, it was -2 and Cheltenham yesterday. I wouldn't want to go to Cheltenham at -2. That's for sure.
The pitch, I was thinking, could it get postponed? Obviously I didn't know if the pitch would be frozen, but no, it was all right. Graham, what did you think to Mavididi? Because again, like, I mean, Upside Down here says Steffi is a big confidence player, which I think we can all agree on. I think, you know, for the last 18 months he's struggled with his confidence, with his form, but he looked back to his best against League Two opposition, which isn't too much of a surprise.
Well, there's still only 11 players on either side, so you've got, you know, they might be not as good, but they're still going to be there. I think the clue in the title of his position is a winger. I've never met any winger that's consistently good. Well, maybe Riyad Mahrez, but even I'm sure I know we've probably forgotten now because he's signed for us 11 years ago, that there were moments where he did something you're going, what the actual? So there's that. I mean, as for celebrating, I remember a certain Keith Weller wasn't exactly the happiest moment and player sometimes when he scored, and he was a legend at our club. I think, he did some good stuff yesterday, basing on the pitch. I mean, it was a pitch that obviously froze and unfroze. If you could see one of the end, I think the end we were attacking in the second half, it hadn't defrosted at all, really. I mean, it wasn't icy, but it had been hard and soft in the wrong places, and the ball had bounced, and people got them in trouble. So I really thought yesterday was a job done. It was great to see 6 academy players starting, 9 in total, and of the 4 substitutes, 3 of them were babies. So yeah, good day out the office. I'll come to IU later, by the way.
I do find it funny, right? Because Kate said it to me a couple of weeks ago. I sent the photo, or you sent me the photo, Kate, of the. Was it after I can't remember which game it was. Who did we play before West Brom?
Sheffield United.
And the one before that, sorry, I can't remember.
Derby.
I'm losing
Derby.
Yeah,
Derby,
where
yeah.
all the academy players, so and you had the photo of all the academy players, and then Kate said Luke Thomas looks the youngest out of all of them, and he's the oldest. He's like 5 years older than Lewis Page, 6 years older than Lewis, 7 years older than Lewis Page, and he looked the youngest out of all of them. But I mean, Kate, another one who played yesterday was Bade Aluko. You can see here, I mean, you know, he played his debut. Well, sorry, his first start for the club was against Southampton at left back, where he got sent off in the first half, and we've not really seen too much of him since. He started yesterday in his preferred right back role, up and down that pitch all game long. Played 90 minutes, and I thought was another. Sign of positivity really for the future, because I thought he was excellent, and I think that he now is within a shout. I don't think he will, but he is within a shout of a league start sometime soon as well.
Yeah, I hope so. You've just got to get minutes in these kids. I think they need to sort of settle into the senior team. They just need a moment to do that, and then you can look at what can they produce on the pitch. I just think they need to get more minutes. They need to get away those nerves when you first come on. And that's what he did yesterday. He did cover every blade of grass down that right-hand side. It doesn't surprise me with that heat map. The energy that these kids bring to the team, you know, when you compare it to someone like Ayew, who I appreciate is the exact opposite end. And he does bring other things, Ayew, but the energy and the tenacity that these kids seem to have is really good. And it's kind of what we've been missing for so long. You know, we talk every week, if it's a poor performance, about it being lackluster or not having energy or looking tired on the ball or without creation. And for him and Louis Page in particular, just running all day to try and create, and it's exciting to see, but I just hope they're rewarded for it and they can get some momentum in the team to really see what they're about once their nerves have settled a bit.
Steve, I mean, Aluko played quite a bit in pre-season, and I think he played centre back in pre-season. He scored a goal, didn't he? I think Lewis Page assist, but yes, it was only against Cheltenham yesterday, Steve, but I just think he brings something different. Like he's a bit of a presence, you know. And I think, you know, he got up as well for a header, right? In the first half, I want to say. Could have been the second half, I can't remember. Could have scored there. I just think he offers something different. He's obviously got those young legs, right, compared to Ricardo. We've seen Ricardo struggle a little bit recently, who's on his way out, I think, and probably won't get his contract renewed at the end of the season. But I just think him, Page, Monga, you know, we already knew this was a very talented group of young players, but I think yesterday showed that they have a lot to offer, and they can start games and play 90 minutes. More importantly, because we saw that from Page and Bade.
Yeah, so the one thing that if your team is lacking confidence, having young lads come in to have a bit of tenacity and drive to impress, that can offset the low confidence in the rest of the players. Because if you see a young lad putting in a performance, you want to go and join in, don't you? You don't want to hold him back. Aluko yesterday, there was a moment in the second half where he just shoulder barged a player off the ball and just walked away with the ball. We were just like, bloody hell, we haven't seen that for 18 months. Where's that been? I think having the young lads in is good. Staying in the FA Cup is also, because it gives them more game time as well. I was annoyed that we got out of the Carabao Cup so early, because I actually think that we would have seen a lot more younger lads playing in that and then progressing into the first team. We've been saying since the start.
Well, you could argue. Sorry, Steve. You could argue that the reason we're out of the cup was because we played the youngsters. I mean, yes, Ben Nelson. Ben Nelson isn't really a young. Well, he is a youngster, but he had a horrific performance in that game. But
that's one game. You know, we've seen him since he's come back, and he's been pretty decent since he's been back in the team. I know. But you know, these young lads are the future, and you know, we'll get on to Ayew and Ricardo and whoever else at some point, but. If you're going to look towards next season, I think giving these players time now, so come sort of February, March time, the end of February, beginning of March, these players will be ready to step in on a more regular basis. And, you know, Louis Page looked to cut above quite a lot of the players in League Two yesterday against Cheltenham anyway. And even Silko Thomas had a decent game. Okay, he sort of faded out in the second half, but first half he was pretty good. So I'm all for it, you know. And if we beat Coventry with young lads in, how much better would that be for everybody?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I agree with this as well. I was kind of stirring the pot a little bit with Ben Nelson. Don't worry, people. I like Ben Nelson. But Graham, were you happy to see a lot of these youngsters? I know you mentioned obviously a lot of six academy players and starting the game and stuff like that. Obviously that includes Thomas and Hamza as well. But
it's a
there's been a
balance.
lot. Yeah, it is. But I was going to say, Graham, there's a lot of people who want to see them start every single week, right? Which. I don't think they should all start, Graham, but I think when you look at some of the performers in the team, the older players in the team, in the league, these youngsters have to be so close to starting these games, man, because, you look at Lewis Page in the 10 yesterday, you look at Bade Aluko at right back, and, compared to some of Ricardo and Hamza's performances recently, they're very, very close.
Yeah, I mean, would you put the photograph of Aluko back up for a second? So, 2 points there. One, Kate's not going to like those legs. I've seen more meat on a Biafran chicken. And secondly, the Predator haircut was immense. Seeing that flying down the wing.
Yes,
I'd be quite controversial and say I'd play him on Saturday against Coventry.
I'd agree. Play him at left back.
Yeah,
right
playing
back.
in his position, play him at right back. And even if it's not the whole game, even bring him on. But I would start him. I think that the whole defence looked quite a lot better with him. I mean, I think my only comment negative about Nelson yesterday, could he actually fucking learn to pass the ball, because his distribution yesterday was abominable. But you can't have everything. As a defender, he looked brilliant. I think it's good. But I think another thing that got me about yesterday was how the game started so slowly. These players don't play together much. There might be swapsies between defence and attack in training, but this will be the first game that a lot of them have played together.
What do you think to that, Kate, about maybe starting Aluko at right? Because we know his first start, right, was it was tough, right? He played against Southampton. He made a couple of rash decisions and he got sent off quite early. But it was his first start, and he was playing. I say out of position loosely because he can play across the whole back line, but his preferred is the right back position. He played he played at left back. He made a couple of mistakes and he got sent off. Do you think now he's warranted another start back in the side, with, as we said, with how things have gone recently for Ricardo, for example?
Yeah, I think so. I'm a big believer in nothing changes unless something changes. So we've had problems with Ricardo. He has looked a shadow of himself, and I think that might be age. I also think it might be the players around him, and I think it's this confidence thing that we speak about. Not that Ricardo's without confidence, but you do get stuck in a rut and you do get frustrated and you do think, oh my God, I know what's going to happen today. And I think there's a little bit like that across the whole team, and especially with fans as well. We know what's going to happen next weekend. If Coventry come at us, we're screwed. If they go toe to toe with us, we'll lose. If there's 50-50s, we'll lose. So unless you start players that are high energy, have the ability to run, have that tenacity I've spoken about, then how are you going to know that something won't change unless you try it? And I just think it's time for some real tough decisions of Marty. He made the tougher ones at the start of the season with Harry Winks and with the Bilal saga as well. But now it's time to make some tough decisions again. When your senior players aren't performing for whatever reason, you have to remember that these kids are waiting in the wings and they haven't really done anything wrong. They've done everything you've asked of them. And the Bade Aluko sending off, I mean, let's remember that Abdul absolutely stitched him up for his first booking. And Abdul has been flipping awful the past half a dozen games, maybe even dozen games, except for a couple of 2 world-class goals. So it's time to give these senior players consequences of their actions, I think, and bring in the youngsters and just see what happens. Just see what happens. If they struggle, if the first half doesn't go to plan, or they're completely out-muscled by men against boys, then it's different. But I think Aluko seems to be the one, and Page gradually, who Marty is starting to weave into the first 11 formation, and see what happens. I just don't think the seniors are going to do any better.
And he's quick. He's quick.
So quick.
Yeah, Graham mentioned his legs. They give me Ndidi vibes, man. Like, he gets his legs in there and he wins the ball like Ndidi used to with his long legs. So yeah, I like it.
say about Mahrez. Like Pep was never worried about Mahrez picking up an injury because he's got no leg muscles.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But no, I agree. But yeah, all right. Let's talk about the old guard then. Actually, no. We'll quickly say Patson Daka, people. So the rumours, and they are just rumours this week, are that Real Betis, who wanted him in the summer, when Leicester allegedly said, "Yeah, you can have him for 10 million." Yeah, okay. Apparently they're interested in him. His contract runs out at the end of the year, at the end of the season, and apparently he doesn't want to. He wants to see out his contract at Leicester and then go. I don't know if any of you saw these rumours in the week. Apparently he wants to see out the rest of his contract and then go to Real Betis. Well, did you know Patson Daka is our fourth highest earner? £75,000 per week.
Wages don't matter. Wages doesn't matter, Locks. We've had this conversation before. Wages do not matter in football.
Well, they do when you've scored two goals in 12 months.
I'll give you a point where they actually do matter. Shall I tell you where they do matter?
Go on.
His tax bill will be £35,000 a week. That's the nurse's pay. So in the 6 months he's got left, he'll be able to afford to buy 24 nurses. Not in that sense, obviously. So, you've got to remember they might earn this big money, but they pay big tax. So, yeah.
That's what happened to our nurses. They don't stay here anymore. Patson Daka's bought them all and he's got them in his house. I couldn't say fridge. I don't know why I said fridge in my head. I don't know.
It used to be me standing outside the nurse's home at 9 o'clock on a Friday night. But anyway, it's another.
Whoa, where the?
2 million quid less than Casey as well.
Say it again, sorry.
Isn't 10 million, £2 million less than what we got for Casey? Bargain.
Well,
bargain.
yeah. Well,
2 goals in a year. Bargain.
Well, this is the thing, though. This is, look, we know it's rumours, right? So we know it. We don't know that it's 100% true, but this just sums it up, right? This is why people get, I think, a little bit angry with some of the decisions made at the club in the transfer window because, we could have got some money for him last summer. We didn't. He scored 2 goals in all competitions, and he's going to go on a free at the end of the season. Like, it's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
For it, but actually, if we turned down an offer that was going to make us look worse in PSR, because there is a baseline for PSR per season, and I believed it was like 4.5 million last year. If they came in and said we'll give you 3 million for him, that's a loss that we bank on the PSR sheet, which isn't a positive look, is it? So,
well, we asked for 10.
They turned it down. Yeah, we asked for 10.
Who on earth is buying? Who on fucking planet Earth? Who on earth is paying £10 million
him at that point? So we have to get the money in and then replace him with somebody. So we'd have to pay more for somebody, which would and we've been told we can't buy anybody, and we've just not been allowed to say it. So
would that have just left us with Ayew
and Carranza? But we could have signed. You never know. We could have signed another loan.
We'd accepted it last summer. We wouldn't have had Carranza.
Yeah, I think the point is we needed 4 strikers, no matter, and with all the goodwill in the world, we didn't have money to go out and buy new strikers, so we kept Daka on the vain hope that he might get us a load of goals.
Yeah,
he still might.
Sorry, guys.
21s.
But yeah, he's going to hang on to the money, isn't he? He's going to hang on to the money.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's like when we moaned about us not getting £5 million for Luke Thomas last January. It's all right, guys. There's a plan. We just give him a 4-year deal. No problem.
4-year deal.
It's all good.
Come
it's
on.
all good. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, guys. It's all good. 4-year deal. And then Graham, people like Graham come out and say, well, it means we can get some money from him in the future. Shut up, Graham.
Protecting his value.
I guarantee you, no one will ever pay £5 million for Luke Thomas. He will either sit here until he's 28, I think it will be, when his contract expires, and he'll go on a free. Or maybe he'll just be one of them. Every club has that player who's just never good enough, but they just stay at the club their whole career. And they're always, I think that could be Luke Thomas.
And he'll still be the youngest looking person in the squad.
Yeah.
Junior Lewis. I'll give you Junior Lewis in that one.
Yeah. Talking of Carranza, I don't know if you saw, he scored on his debut in the Mexican League last night. Scored a penalty.
Fantastic. not.
Yeah, so he scored a goal, Graham. I mean, he scored a goal. He didn't do that here. He didn't do that here. That's for sure. But I don't think it's too much of a surprise. And I will say as well, just sticking with the striker before we talk about Ayew, Mikel Antonio. Kate, let me ask you about that. I mean, he was due to sign. He was training with us for the last few weeks. And he's picked up another injury, and Marty's basically said, yeah, it's not going to happen now because he's picked up another injury in his recovery. So we're now looking at, allegedly, according to what's his name? Ben Jacobs. We're allegedly looking at Callum Wilson now instead, who I think I would have preferred anyway over. I was going to call him no legs, Antonio, but allegedly there's 3 legs with Antonio from his own mouth, not from me, his own mouth. He said that once. So full of spunk. No, but yeah. So how do you feel about that whole situation, Kate? No Antonio, but maybe a Wilson.
Yeah, Callum Wilson excites me. I like him a lot. I think he's a really good player. I think he keeps himself in good shape. He has a decent injury record in that. I don't think he's had any major injuries. And Antonio was always going to be one of those punts, wasn't it? That we'll just see how he goes. I think I read that he'd shattered his femur and a pin holds that together. I think it was just the one leg that he really injured. And it's a tough ask, isn't it? The guy's 36 years old. I think Callum Wilson's similar age. Is he 35, Callum Wilson?
33.
33, okay. So, look, I much prefer him. He's clearly unhappy where he is. We don't need another troublesome player. That's what I would say.
I will just quickly jump in, Kate. You're mistaken. He is very injury prone.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, then.
Well, he's played 17 matches this season. So he can't be that, he's 17 matches already this season, so he can't be that injury prone.
His last injury was February 2025, but the in 2024 he played he was injured 1, 2, 3, 4. He was injured 5 times in 2024. But I agree, Kate. I mean, he hasn't had his legs shattered, so that's a start, right?
Yeah, I think so. And would he be? It's a low bar, isn't it? Does a player have legs? Yes. Okay, let's consider him. But yeah, I think he's not going to be playing every single game, which is a good thing. It's a drop down a division. Will he be interested in that? But if he is, that's also a good thing in terms of saving his energy, etc., and what he will need to do to perform. So yeah, I like Callum Wilson. I think he's a really good player, and he'll be my preferred option. If they were both injury free, I love Antonio. He would be my preferred option, but it's just such a big ask and a big expectation on a guy who had such a horror accident.
Yeah, I mean, Graham, at West Ham, where Wilson's been this season, so he was on a basic wage of $6,000 a week, which was highly incentivized. Basically, he would get a lot of bonuses if he scored, if he played, if he assisted, things like that. So a similar contract to that would be, I think, appropriate at Leicester, Graham. Get him on a low wage, and then if he scores a couple goals, there's an extra 10, 15 grand for you, mate. No problem. And if he doesn't, and he's injured, and he sits in Seagrave with his legs up all the time, then for 6 months, then he'll just get a small little wedge instead.
Well, at Seagrave Hospital, he'll have a lot of company there, won't he? Yeah, going back to, I don't think there's a pinch of salt big enough to cover anything that Ben Jacobs says. And obviously I cannot say any more because I am covered by a super injunction on that character. But we'll talk afterwards.
What?
What
the fuck?
Graham dropping bombs. Jesus Christ.
What?
Change your name to America.
Anyway,
spunk.
He wanted some spunk. There we go. Moving on. Nothing to see. I think the issue is that anywhere we go looking for strikers, they're either going to be knackered, off the shelf, whatever. Anybody we can get for a 6 months layover, it doesn't really matter. We need strikers, and it's great having the youngsters come through. And I'm guessing that we will sign somebody, but we probably won't actually know who they are. Yeah, well, the usual thing. So yeah,
I will say, for the first time on this show, I'm going to say props to Leicester City at this point, because they gave him, I think he was there for about 6 weeks training with the squad, and he picked up that injury during those 6 weeks. And rather than offer him the contract at the start of January, they thought, well, we'll wait, we'll see what his injury is like, and then we'll make an assessment then. Leicester of the past would have signed him straight away and said, look, you're coming straight in, mate, don't worry about it. And then we'd have been stuck with him for a year. So fair play, Leicester City doing something right.
Well, no, that's true. That's true though, because like we get, weeks we had him training, and we could have signed him 2 weeks ago, and he could have got injured, but they just delayed it and delayed it. Saw how his recovery went and how he integrated, and he picked up an injury, and now it's not going to happen. And yesterday he was at the TNT Sports Studio doing some punditry, so he may well delve into that. But I think he's played for Jamaica this season, I think, as well, actually, in the summer. Was it the gold? Is it, what do they play over there? Gold Cup or something like that? Something like
football,
that.
usually.
Shut up.
Bobsleighing.
Bobsleigh, yeah. But yeah. Jordan Ayew, Kate. Daka made Ayew look good. Ayew made Daka look good yesterday, I thought. I mean, Ayew came on, much to the frustration, Kate, of many people, because you had Jake Evans sat there on the bench, not getting a single minute, who missed an under-21 game the night before, so he could be a part of the squad, and then didn't play. 2-0 up in the second half. You're gonna see, you're gonna win the game. Not really much at stake. Why not play Jake Evans? Instead, he turns to Jordan Ayew, who I thought was just so so uninspiring, Kate. Man, his first touch was fucking backwards.
Oh, you were talking bollocks. I can't wait to get me on in a minute, Kate. Get me on, Jesus.
Yeah, I was really disappointed to see Ayew come on. I didn't understand what the reason was for the move. These are like Steve said before, these early rounds of the Cup are opportunities to introduce some youngsters, give them some minutes, get away some nerves, see what they're about. And also having the comfort of the other youngsters being on the pitch as well, which we've spoken about before. So the Ayew solution, the question hadn't been asked. So I'm not sure what solution it provided, really. We know what he's about, and it was just a waste of a substitution. I don't really understand. And if he wants to use him for the Coventry match, which he may well do, then you've risked him also picking up an injury. There's just a lot about that I didn't understand, and left me really frustrated as well, because if you can't bring Jake Evans on in that moment, what is that saying? And I'm completely like I said this to you yesterday, Locks, that I completely am backing Marty. If he thinks Jake isn't good enough, then Jake isn't good enough, and let's draw the line and stop worrying about whether he's going to start or not, and let's just get rid of him then. But if he is good enough, then give him when's he going to get his chance? I don't really understand when he's going to get his chance. In those closing moments, you just wanted someone to hold the ball, to pressure the back line, and to try and keep possession. And I don't think Ayew can do that very well at all. Ayew can't track. Ayew can't chase down. Ayew hasn't got pace. Just give Jake Evans a run out. Just see what he can do. It was quite a tough ground to go to. All the fans were actually almost on the side of the pitch in the first half, weren't they? It's a good experience for him to do with some of his mates. And it's just really disappointing to see why is he the new Will Alves? Why are we not seeing minutes of him? Like we didn't see minutes of Will Alves before. Like, what is wrong? And like I've said previously, when the seniors aren't performing, the consequence has to be, well, let's see what the youngsters are about then. And I was really disappointed for Jake yesterday. I think that's, like you say, he's missed a game on the Friday night for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, I mean, go on. I'll come to you in a sec, Steve. I want to hear what Graham's got to say about Ayew, because I feel like I'm about to bang my head against the wall. Go on, tell me, Graham.
You probably will do. I think it was a brilliant substitution.
Oh, fuck's sake!
Here we go. No. Do you want to have a listen? So he brought on 4 subs. Yeah, 3 of them were teenagers. Yep, or the youngsters. We're 2-0 up away at Cheltenham, and this is a really important game. These guys are a load of... I nearly said some really uncool word that we're playing against. But that's an awkward score, because say somebody foofed up and they ran down the other end and scored, right? The tension comes on. So I brought Ayew on. He's sitting in the middle of the park up front. He's giving other people stuff to talk about. He's punching a ball or just he's doing his thing. And would you still be saying this if his assist had been an assist to Skip where he lobbed the ball up nicely for him to have a shot? I don't think so. But the real important thing is, I think the third. Well, there you go. There's no point in having a debate, is there, mate? The third point.
No, I'm saying I would still say Jake Evans should have come on.
Let me just finish that point. I think if we'd have been winning 3-0, he would have come on. But we were winning 2-0, and he made a decision to play a player that he thought could do a job. Because his job's on the line. Can you imagine if it had all gone a bit Pete Tong there? Where would he be talking about? Well, So there you go. That's the opposite opinion, whether it's true or false.
He still had 2 subs left, Graham, didn't he, at the end of the game?
Sorry?
He still had 2 subs left at the end of the game.
He had 1 left because Wanya came on as well. So there was 1 left.
Well, he came on for a minute.
And on the goal scoring front, and I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but if you take the goals scored in the Championship in December, I read somewhere that we scored 16 goals or whatever, and we were the second top goal scorers in that month.
There you go.
What's the flip side to that? How many have we conceded?
You see, you're talking bollocks again.
No. I'm just asking how many we've conceded. I was just asking a question, Graham. I was just asking a question.
We've got no strikers. Oh, well, where do we get? It's like
I was just asking a question.
Mark yesterday came on and go, we're going to get Man City next round. God's sake.
Who said that?
Marky Mark.
Oh, your best mate. Your best mate.
My best mate, yeah.
Steve, I'm gonna use. This isn't gonna be too harsh because I'm gonna say what I'm gonna use the same word Graham said here. I think Graham's talking bollocks, Steve, about Jordan Ayew and Jake Evans. We were comfortable. We weren't going to concede 2 goals. Jake Evans should have come on yesterday. And even if, let's forget the Ayew sub, even Wanya, I'm not being funny, man. Wanya's had his fucking chance 2 years ago. He made his debut. He played a few games. He went over to the Dutch leagues. Jake Evans, man, why does he not play on Friday night in the under-21 game so he can be a part of this squad and then doesn't get a kick? It blows my mind, Steve.
Well, he played 4 times in the Premier League last season. I think overall it was about 30 minutes total of football. But he came on in the Premier League, and that was under Rude, who, let's be honest, didn't give a shit about his job in the last sort of 4 or 5 games before the season. Ayew is going to leave in the summer. And I said previously, this is the squad. These are the players that we're going to have to build a future around. So, and I think the game was too comfortable. Yes, we were 72% possession. At one point, we had like 85% possession total. So the game was won. Bring him on for 20 minutes. Let him see what he can do, because he could have nicked a goal. There was an opportunity where Ayew got the ball in the middle of the pitch and the keeper came out and gobbled it up effectively. Evans could have scored that. Ayew could have scored that. But we've seen everything we can with Ayew. We don't need to see any more of him. We know what we're going to get. Evans, we don't know. Give these players a chance. And we brought on Wanya Marcel for a minute. Pointless. Bring him on a bit earlier if you need to. If you want to give these players an actual chance, bring them on earlier. Because they need professional minutes to see how they're going to perform. The under 21s is fine, but it's only a level of football that you need to come out and play professional football at this point to see where you're going to be. He's 17.
Could I ask a question? What's so important about him not playing in the under-21 garbage league last night?
Because
missed the game. Oh, but he got the chance to stay in a hotel with all his young mates, and he got a chance to be with the squad. Well, Cheltenham's very nice, I'll have you know.
Graham.
Hang on, let me just finish this point. You're saying he didn't get on the pitch, but he spent important minutes and hours with his teammates, his young teammates, senior players, being part of something. That is part of the learning process. Ayew was about game management, not about giving youngsters a chance to play.
If you genuinely think that a 17-year-old lad is sat on the bench seeing his best mates get onto the pitch and play for Leicester while he's sat there twiddling his thumbs whilst a 34-year-old fucking striker who's leaving in 6 months comes on ahead of him, if you think he's sat there grateful for, that's not the case. He
Who
would be
says the word
gutted.
grateful? He might actually have a better understanding of football and decide that actually probably might have been the right decision. As much as I want to get on this pitch, I need us to win the game so I can get into the next round and be on the bench or play next time.
Voice of reason, Kate. Who's right? Who's wrong on this? Because for me, it's a net. It's a net loss in development, not playing Friday or Saturday, rather than not playing. The fact that he just travelled with the squad and got to sit on the bench of the players, and he could have played 90 minutes on Friday night for the under-21s. I don't see what that's done for his development. He's already done squad trips in the Premier League, in the Championship this season. It's not like this is a new experience for him that he gets to travel with the squad. He's done this before, and he's not got a single minute.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where Graham's coming from. The game management side of things is really important, and 2-0 is a bit of a dangerous scoreline. But you could have even had them both. Like, Ayew could have played in the 10 and you could have put Jake on. Like, there was still room, and not necessarily with 20 minutes to go or whenever Ayew came on, but with 10 minutes to go or 5 minutes to go when the game was done, I think there was still room for Jake. It doesn't have to be an either-or question either. I just worry that Jake's going to start to become our Will Alves, where Will Alves travelled a lot with Enzo, and so what? It means nothing if you're not going to get any game time and you're not seeing the fruits of your labour. So I think, I don't know, maybe we're both right. Like, Ayew does bring that, but also he's not guaranteed to bring that. Like, you don't really know if Ayew's going to have a good game when he comes on or not. But Jake was going to be high energy and could press. So as much as Ayew holds the ball up and wins fouls, he can't chase and put pressure on the defence, whereas Jake could have done that. So it's kind of half and half, isn't it? But there was room for both, I think.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's end it there. That's enough spot for today.
He's got the 8 now.
Marty is obsessed with like for like. That's Marty's.
That's true.
Marty's weaknesses is that he's obsessed with like for like subs.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, thanks to Graham, thanks to Steve, thanks to Kate. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Thank you to everybody getting involved in the comment section. Our next game, it's Saturday, isn't it? Coventry. Is it? What time is it?
12:30.
Nice.
We'll remind you in the week, mate. Don't worry.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I need it. But yeah, we're gonna end it there. So thanks to everybody. Obviously, not really much Marty chat today, but I'm sure that will continue next weekend, no matter what happens. So we'll be back live. We've got a call-in show for the first time in a long time tomorrow, 7 p.m. Make sure to join us for that. 7 p.m. on tomorrow night. So yes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Everybody go to Steve's Twitter, X, and find the Just Given, or is it Just Given or something else? The link to his marathon that he's doing. And go and donate. And thanks all. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and up the Foxes. Nice one. Bye. No more 200 grand, but our new sponsors, The Beautiful Frame, have smashed it with this Jamie Vardy piece. It's unreal. They're a local Leicester business as well, which makes it even better. And not just City, they do prints for other clubs as well. So it's perfect if you are stuck for a birthday or Christmas present for one of your friends or family. Now, the best bit, they have sorted BTG viewers out with a discount. Just use BTG12 at checkout for money off. BTG12. Grab yours now at thebeautifulframe.com. The link is down below.